it's very difficult in many communities, especially African American communities, to ask for the needed help. And we've seen incident after incident where you ask for help and it's met with some level of violence.
Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Monday, August 2nd, 2021. Time is 8:03 p.m. Yes, Jersey time, nothing's changed. Okay, quickly, it's getting dark out here. This is reported on yahoo.com and it reads as follows. Georgia cops arrest black man after answering mental health call. Okay. One cop sicks police dog on him for seemingly no reason. What a surprise, people. How many videos have we seen that one where they use the cop? I think if you look at my the trailer going out of my videos, it's a picture of that black man on the ground and they got that dog. If you watch the video of that where that outtake was taken from, the guy actually picks up the K-9 by the collar and the rear and is trying to use that dog to bite the guy. And again, I haven't read the story yet, so I'm going to just say something real quick. I see these propaganda stories on Facebook, different police departments in the area around here, about K-9 Hunter and K-9 this and K-9 that, and what a great dog it is. And when I went to the county fair, they have the dogs out there, and they do these little shows on Community Day of a German Shepherd. It's the German Shepherds is mainly what I'm targeting, not the sniffing dogs, but these German Shepherds. What they use these shepherds for, they are the sacrificial lamb and they are the administrator of pain. They use these dogs as the front line to run after somebody and get them. That way if the guy tries to shoot, they shoot the dog, not the officer. So that's what they use these dogs. And then the dog gets a hold of the guy and rips the guy or the woman's arm off. How many videos? Go on YouTube, people. Just Google it. K-9 dog bites person. Bites. Rips arm. We had a situation down in Atlantic City, New Jersey, about 2 years ago. The city had to pay out, I don't know, $1 million, $2 million. This guy got 100 stitches from the damn K-9 dog. So these mutts are not cute little animals. Yeah, they do little tricks. And again, they manipulate children with these dogs all the time. Just go on your Facebook, look at your local police department, your county sheriff's department, and look for those little videos and pictures of the cute little K-9 mutt. All right, let me read the story here real quick. Here it is right here. Attorneys for a black man in Alpharetta, Georgia, said their client will file a lawsuit following an incident in which he was viciously attacked by a police dog while being taken into custody, and one that proves once again that cops have no business answering calls regarding unarmed citizens suffering a mental health crisis. Well, I don't know about that, but that's not what this is about. WSB-TV2 reports last Sunday, Alpharetta police were called to the home of Travis Moya because he was reportedly having a mental health crisis. It's unclear why Moya was being arrested in the first place. Well, they have to get the arrest because arrest generates money. The officer has to go to court, so that's overtime. And then it goes down, it's a statistic of arrest, and then the chief gets up, hey, look, my guy's arrested. We got all these criminals off the street. And then that makes the chief look like a hero. All right, hold on. I'm trying to find the rest of the story. Here it is. There was no reason for him to be even detained or arrested, but instead of an ambulance showing up, 8 officers showed up. Well, you know, that's the football team showing up. They're bored. They all got to get in there and do a little dry humping. I bet that was a black man they responded to, right? You know, black guy, forget it, man. The white cop shows up, they're going to dry hump you. But instead, an ambulance showing up, 8 officers showed up, Attorney Gerald Griggs said. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, it was his wife who called 911, and she also captured video that shows Moya speaking with officers while handcuffed and appearing to struggle with them slightly as she pleaded with him to calm down. It's an odd scene because Moya really doesn't appear to be resisting officers much. Officers can be seen leading him away when he suddenly goes to the ground, and as officers appear to struggle with him, An officer with a K-9 allowed the dog to attack Moya for seemingly no reason whatsoever. Well, there was a reason. He wants to inflict pain on this guy. He's got this dog. The dog's trained to bite and hurt people. Listen, if he never... What's the purpose of training a dog if the officer can't use it to inflict pain on somebody? He couldn't move. He couldn't kick. He couldn't fight the dog off. He had to lay there while the dog ripped him apart, attorney Chris Stewart told WSB-TV. Stewart also told AJC that Mr. Moya was having a mental health crisis and that this was non-violent, nothing crazy, but his wife felt that an ambulance needed to check him out. They called for help and said a K-9 unit showed up. Let this be a lesson, people. Don't call... The police are the last people you call if you're having a family member that's having a crisis. I understand that sometimes there's nothing you can do, but bear in mind when you call these people, they only have to resolve problems one way, and that is through violence. How many times I said through all my videos, violence is their go-to tactic to solve a problem. They don't, big guys don't know any other tactics, and here we are. For whatever reasons, they tried to handcuff him and detain him, even though he was on his own property and hadn't done anything. Well, they had to escalate. See, people don't understand this. You have to understand when they show up, they have to escalate. This is police culture. It's not even necessarily training, it's culture. And we're trying to change this culture, and it's not easy. The culture is show up, escalate, get the arrest, get overtime, generate money, generate favorable statistics for the chief. They slammed him to the ground. Well, that's how many times I've said that in a video, that, you know, they got to pick you up and they got to slam you. For whatever reasons, they tried to handcuff him and detain him, even though he was on his own property. They slammed him to the ground with excessive use of force. Then, out of nowhere, the K-9 officer brings the dog over and lets him loose on Mr. Moya while he's cuffed on the ground. Video taken of Moya's arm and posted online shows the severity of his injuries. Holy mackerel. Oh, wait, it looks like it's a white guy, too. There's his injuries. I would tell everybody, you know what? Get a copy of this video. When you see one of these propaganda stories about these German Shepherd K-9 mutts, pictures of kids and stuff standing next to them, you post that link on there so people can say, and you get on and say, this is what the mutt really does, people. After being taken to the hospital and treated for his wounds, Moya was charged with 1 felony count obstruction. How can he be booked with obstruction? Don't there got to be a primary charge first? And booked into the Fulton County. You're on your own goddamn property. Your own house, your own property. These psychopaths show up, and next thing you know, your arm is ripped apart. You've been charged with a felony. Now, I suspect that felony charge is going to get dropped, because there's a major lawsuit coming on this one. Moya was charged with 1 felony count obstruction, booked into Fulton County Jail. According to AJC, his attorneys are demanding that charge be dropped. According to WSB-TV, they are also demanding that all the officers involved be fired. Don't hold your breath on that one, fired, and that the investigation into the incident be launched. A spokesperson for the Alpharetta police said an investigation is underway. Yeah, we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing out of the ordinary. At this time, no complaint has been filed in relation to this matter. However, per police policy, a use of force investigation is being conducted in this matter, as is performed for any instance of a use of force incident by our officers. Officer Jeffrey Ross said in an email statement. So there are plenty of questions here. Why was Moya arrested in the first place if the call was about a mental health crisis? See, here in America, people, if you have mental issues, mental health issues, you have to go through the legal system first, criminal justice system first, before you even get a glimpse of getting any hope. Because the just criminal justice system has to make money off of you first. His only charge stems from him allegedly obstructing police from arresting him. Well, isn't that a resisting arrest? But what is the charge? How are you obstructing justice? Obstructing justice if somebody's out there trying to do the job and you I don't know, people. I'm not a rocket scientist here. Just giving my opinion. Why were so many damn cops called to the scene for anything? Well, they thought there was a football game involved there. They heard the quarterback had the ball. Why were cops as opposed to mental health professionals called at all? I don't know. You called the police. I mean, the lady called the police. Did she call and say, hey, could you send a mental health professional over here? I got a little problem with my family member. And why the hell was there a K-9 unit present? Well, it seems like a clear-cut case of police brutality, but as we know, finding justice for black people tends to, well, maybe he's black. Doesn't look like from the picture. People tends to be an uphill battle in situations like these. And once again, I just have to say, if you love me struggling with mental health crisis, please do not call the police. Well, it's an interesting story. There's some more to this. I will put the link in the description so you can go read the whole thing yourself. But yeah, once again, these K-9 mutts, how many stories have I done on K-9 mutts? I see these propaganda stories all the time on Facebook here in my local police departments about how great these wonderful dogs are. And these German Shepherd mutts, there's nothing about them. They want this particular breed of mutt because it's ferocious. It has a lot of ferocity to it. It has no fear, very low fear factor. So they like these mutts. They're small, they're easy for the officer to pick up, but they got a hell of a bite on them, and that's what they're used for. They're used to inflict pain, people. So if you go to some community event, a fair or whatever, and you see them out there with these K-9s, there's nothing cute about these dogs. They are vicious animals. All right, let me know what you think in the comments section. K-9 mutt. No doubt taxpayers are going to be paying out again. Till next time, people.
An Alpharetta man demanding an investigation into law enforcement conduct after being viciously attacked by a K-9 officer. And the whole thing was caught on video. We want to warn you, the video is disturbing. It happened on Sunday when Travis Moya says officers were called to the house for a mental health call. His attorney says he was in handcuffs, surrounded by Alpharetta officers when the K-9 attacked him, biting him multiple times. Pictures show wounds covering his upper body. We have it blurred out there. Moya also says he suffered a concussion when the officer slammed him to the ground. Now he's asking Fulton County's district attorney to investigate.
It's very difficult in many communities, especially African-American communities, to ask for the needed help. And we've seen incident after incident where you ask for help and it's met with some level of violence. So I think it underscores the need for real reform, as we've already outlined, that addresses this. Because when a person is crying out for help, you should help them. You should have crisis intervention units to come, not law enforcement.
The police department shared the K-9 officer's body cam video with 11 Alive, showing their side of the story.
Babe, stop!
Last Sunday evening, Alpharetta police were dispatched to Lynetta Lane on a domestic disturbance call.
Baby, stop!
K-9 officer MJ Esposito and his dog Eris got to the scene first. According to the police report, Travis Moya's wife says her husband was at home acting strange. The report says, quote, she said he was pacing back and forth in the house and grunting. She said he went outside and hit the house and his car. Officers claim Moya was also becoming verbally and physically aggressive towards them. They struggle to get him to the ground. Watch as Officer Esposito brings his K-9 over and it latches onto Moya's left arm.
No! No!
But was that even necessary since the three officers had him on the ground? One officer justifies their actions in his report, saying Mr. Moya landed in a push-up position and continued not to put his hands behind his back. Officer Esposito released K-9 Eris and he latched on to Mr. Moya's left upper arm. After several attempts to get Mr. Moya to comply, we were finally able to get handcuffs on Mr. Moya. Moya was charged with felony obstruction for not complying with the officer's commands. But it doesn't end there.
It's very difficult in many communities, especially African-American communities, to ask for the needed help. And we've seen incident after incident where you ask for help and it's met with some level of violence.